I also want to point out that for every one of you that will point out to me that God set up procreation to happen between a man and a woman. I would like to point out that God made damn sure that the fall of man happened because of a man and a woman, not just one or the other. So when you stand on your soapboxes and say, as your argument, that gay marriage will destroy the American family as we know it, I would like to point out that it was this heterosexual union that destroyed all family values as God planned them. Everything came from this loving couple that had no temptation outside of each other, that had as their chaperone God Himself, that never heard profanity, that never saw pornography, that had never experimented with drugs and alcohol, and were not bombarded with fashion magazines or the cult of celebrity. But they brought down the entire human race. And we point to them as our biblical foundation to pronounce the rights as according to God on other people. That makes sense. No, I'm not using Adam and Eve as my argument for same-sex marriage. I am saying, let's just call a spade here. And Adam and Eve had everything and blew it. Adam and Eve had everything and blew it. God created male and female to have balanced responsibility for the planet, for subduing the planet, for coming against the works of darkness, for seeing to it that all humanity is touched by the gospel, so that no one could be blamed. That no gender could be blamed for the problems. Very interesting. When you read the succession of events, and then you hear how Paul talks about it later, there's still a need to point a finger. There's still a desire to lay the blame. Well, we blame groups of people that don't adhere to our time-tested philosophies of alienation, of fear, of judgment for the problems that we see. Well, the problem is the very first married couple destroyed everything. The very first married couple destroyed everything. Period. So what happened in the very first marriage? The fall of man. The fall of man. And we still stand around and go, guys, why is it that Christian marriages have the same divorce rate as non-Christian marriages? Well, I don't know. Look at the first one. How did they do? Well, they stayed together. Yeah, they stayed together and destroyed everything in the process. God bless them. They brought to us fear and shame and sin and death and murder and bloodlust. God bless them. What was God thinking that day when He put together the beginning of the human race? I don't like this teaching. I want to stop it and do something else. Because I am going to make a profound point through an analogy. And I'm not even going to be on my side when I'm done with it. But if you really challenge the spirit of this analogy and let go of the words of the analogy because they rub you the wrong way, you will have to admit that it's more accurate than not. It's more scriptural than not. Let's talk about church. Church, among other things, is the place of community resource. A place where I have something that you don't have, and I bring it, and I share it with you. And you have something that I don't have, and you bring it and share it with me. An inarguable point. Well, what a beautiful example of, forgive the rabbit ears, church, when in the world today, a couple can't have a baby, but maybe a friend or a sibling or even a stranger is willing to have a child for that couple. That's nice. That's beautiful. And I'm sure someone in that story is going to use the word miracle. But they can't have their own baby. Or they can. But they can raise a baby. And they're offering to help them have that experience. Why am I saying this? It's that Adam and Eve and Adam and Steve problem. If isolated, which is what people do when they find scripture they want to kill you with, they isolate it and beat you with it till there's nothing left of your hope. And if isolated, you take what happened when God created Adam and Eve all by its lonesome. It's an individual event. And God says, this is what I want you to do. I want you to not learn about good and evil. I don't want you to know about it. I want to protect you from the knowledge of good and evil. He didn't say anything like, don't do this, this is wrong, this is bad, make sure your kids don't turn out like this. He didn't say anything like that. He said, I don't even want you to know about it. All you have to do is not eat of that fruit, and then I can protect you. He didn't say, this is the example for all mankind to follow forevermore. He didn't say that. He did not say it either, I understand. But he didn't say it. Are Adam and Eve the template for perfect parenting? I mean, have you ever heard anybody say, because Adam and Eve had this many kids, we should have this many kids? If that's what Adam and Eve did, that's what we do. God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. It gets better. What did Adam and Eve's kids do after they became adults? Oh, they married each other. They married each other. We have a really weird family tree developing here. Oh, I said tree. We have two really weird family trees happening here. The one's sitting in the garden that they're not supposed to eat it, but we know they're gonna. But we also have two human beings made out of dirt, and, well, one made out of dirt and one made out of bone. I wonder how different she looked than him. Think about it. And they're both born on one day, and I guess they don't have belly buttons. A lot of people love to ask, do Adam and Eve have belly buttons? No, they're not alive anymore. I don't think they have skin, but that's just me. But they're born, but they're not kids because, well, they seem to be adults.